Afternoon. Thanks for joining, everyone. I'm not sure where everyone is coming from. I know we had a few people log in on our website and registered from around the U.S. So just want to say thank you for tuning in and logging in for our first webinar. We're going to be doing a series throughout the next 6 months and onward. And I'll go through later in the webinar some of those topics of what we'll be covering. Obviously this one, from those who have logged in and registered, it's about our program and featuring kind of what does the program look like on the ground looking at this summer. So again, thank you. I'm Jenny Miller. I work with CRCC Asia in our San Francisco office. It's our U.S. hub. So we work with students who are interested in going on our programs from the U.S. and Canada, and then a few from South America as well. So if you're tuning in from somewhere in South America, welcome. My role with CRCC Asia is I oversee university partnerships as well as marketing. And obviously this webinar series is a new way to engage with participants as well as interested students who are considering doing an internship abroad and might have questions that doing in a fun, interactive way through a webinar. So kind of the outline of the next 20 minutes is I have a brief presentation that hopefully you'll be able to see on the screen. And then I'll open it up to questions. And there should be, in your Google Hangout, there'll be an opportunity for you to type in your questions, and I'll click them and say that I'll be answering them, then answering them verbally. So not to waste any more time, let's get started with the webinar. Technical issues, one moment. All right. Well, as I said, this is this is the first webinar of several, and I'm just going to outline a little about our program looking at this summer. And this first picture is one of our groups of interns. On the first day of the internship, our team in China, the variety of locations that I'll share more about, takes kind of a picture to welcome you guys to the program, and then drives you to your host company, introduces you to your English-speaking supervisor, and make sure you just get acquainted and situated on your first internship. A little about CRCC and kind of some background. We started in 2006 by these three gentlemen, 2 Brits and 1 American, and their hope was to create a program for young professionals, students and graduates who are looking for an opportunity to develop their resume and take that into an international setting. This is a little look at CRCC since our start in 2006. 2008 is when we started our first program with the Beijing Olympics. And as you can see, we've grown since 2014, excuse me, where we'll be placing just around 2,000 interns a year. We have offices worldwide, so as I mentioned, I am in the San Francisco office, but then we also have another office here in the U.S. in Pennsylvania. That office is where the visa processing for all of our participants and their visas is done. But then we also have offices throughout our China locations, Shanghai, Shenzhen, Beijing, and Sanya. And then we also have an office in Sydney, Venice, Madrid, London, and recently we opened another one in Toronto. A little about CRCC and the ways that we are involved in the community. We're strong supporters of the 100,000 Strong initiative, where it's U.S. and China relations, helping to see more U.S. students studying or having an international experience to China. We're also the winners of the British Business Award as well as the Cathay Pacific Award. And then we also have a partnership with the British Council with Generation UK to help UK students study abroad and intern in China. So why China? You might not have considered doing an internship in China before, but these are just a few reasons as to why you should. I'm not sure you can get on Twitter or look in the news today without seeing something about China and its position in the world economy and the ways that it affects not just the U.S., but on a global scale. So that's a little background about CRCC. So I'll introduce you to what are our programs and what does it look like on the ground. So as I mentioned, these are our 4 locations throughout China. So we focus on mainland China in our programs in Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, and Sanya. And where we place students in a variety of sectors. These are some of the sectors that we're able to place students in, although it's not an exhaustive list. So if you don't kind of see your focus or your interest on that, we're always placing students and developing new and exciting partnerships with host companies in China. The breakdown of percentage, business and finance is the most popular. However, we're seeing a lot more demand from students as well as host companies when it comes to engineering, computer science, green technology. So what does the program entail? As the PowerPoint just continues to load, these are all the different things that the program includes. So we pick you up at your airport upon arrival. We guarantee you an internship in the sector of your choice. We also do all of the visa processing and support to make sure that you are on the right visa in order to do an internship in China. There is no language requirement to do our program, so if you don't have any formal Mandarin background, that is okay. You're guaranteed an English-speaking supervisor. You're also provided international hotel accommodations. They're full service. We also have weekly Mandarin lessons and weekly cultural or social networking events as well. So then you'll get an opportunity to meet other interns on the program, but also working professionals who are living in China. We also do all of the pre-departure assistance when it comes to your placement, making sure that you're in the right insurance and so forth. When you first arrive after you're picked up at your airport, the following day we have a formal welcome banquet and induction day where we're giving you an orientation to China culturally as well as some business norms in the workplace. You also are given a welcome packet, SIM card, and city guide to make sure you know how to get around the city, as well as some top places to visit while you're there. And then on a monthly basis, we have a charity day as well. And then following the internship, we have an extensive alumni network and a CRCC Asia certificate. This is some background as to who is participating on our program. Again, I said we do recruit worldwide with our global offices. Predominantly it's UK, Europe, and America students. But this is an added bonus to the program in the fact that not only would you be potentially on a program with other Americans, but you'll have an opportunity to learn about your field or your sector of what's happening in London, what's happening in Madrid or Sydney when it comes to finance or engineering. So as I mentioned, these pictures were our summer programs, May, June, and we have another program that is starting July 24th as well. We're sending over 1,000 students this summer alone. So it's really exciting, and our on-the-ground teams are busy, as you can see with all of those pictures. This is pictures from our Beijing program, and the bottom pictures are that induction day, where the end of the day is a Chinese banquet to kind of kickstart and celebrate the remainder of the program. Again, these are some pictures from our Shenzhen program. Shenzhen is just outside of Hong Kong. It's a great location for students for finance as well as engineering. The stock exchange is in Shenzhen, and then lots of manufacturing and computer science are there as well. So those are our flagship program is the China Internship Program, but we have other programs as well that you can do in conjunction or on its own. And one of those is the Intensive Chinese Language Program. And this is, again, all of our programs are 1, 2, or 3 months long, and they run every month of the year. So if you decide, you could do a 1-month Chinese language program followed by 2-month internship. Or you can do 3 months of Chinese language program. And this is intended for students who really want to dive deep when it comes to learning Mandarin. As you can see, it's 20 hours of tuition per week. It's much more intensive than the built-in weekly Mandarin lessons that are already involved in the internship program. The other program that we have is the Business and Finance course. This is only run during our summer, but is a fantastic opportunity for students who might have less time. It's 2 weeks, or again, you can do this 2-week program followed by a 1-2 month internship. And this is in 2 weeks, 1 week in Shanghai, 1 week in Beijing, or 2 weeks in Shenzhen alone. And this is where we partner with organizations and corporations like KPMG and China BG Capital, where professionals and executives are doing classes for these students and sharing about microfinance in China or investment opportunities and venture capital and M&A. And the other final program is the travel program in partnership with the Dragon Trip. It's a 20-day backpacking tour throughout China where you can start in Beijing, Shenzhen, or Shanghai and finish in your internship location as well. And it's a great opportunity for you to explore China outside of these large cities, especially when you're working full-time during your internship. So part 2 is how do you prepare for a program with CRCC Asia? So first you apply to our program on our website in the top right-hand corner, the red apply button. After the application, we will process the application, and within 48 hours, we'll contact you about setting up a phone interview. And phone interview is a great opportunity for us to learn more about your background and interests, but then also for you to ask us questions as well. If accepted to the program, let's say you're accepted to the program, and then you decide to go on, the full payment. From there, the pre-departure information is sent to you. It's a large packet with kind of a checklist of what's next. And that's what this timeline is. 6 weeks before you depart, we will begin visa processing. 2 to 5 weeks is when you find out about your company and which placement you have been confirmed. And then 2 weeks before is where we require your flight and insurance details, just so we can have that in our database to make sure we're picking you up at the airport at the right time, and all of our risk management is covered. And then one week, the confirmed accommodation details as well. Again, these are all the pre-departure assistance that we provide. And then 1 week, your arrival instructions are sent. It's, again, another great packet with lots of details of who's going to pick you up at the airport, at what time, what does the induction day include, accommodations, all of that. And then you head to China and get to have a great time doing your internship and learning more about China. We get a lot of questions when it comes to visas and what does that involve. As a lot of times this might, if you're logged in and you're thinking about going abroad and doing an internship, you might have never thought about actually working abroad and the type of visa you would need. So CRCC Asia, we handle all of that to make it really seamless and less hassle for you. Kind of what happens is once you are confirmed and being on the place on our program, 6 weeks before departure, we send you a packet, and it outlines in a really kind of easy checklist of what you need to send us so we can start processing the visa. One of those is your passport, as well as 2 passport-sized photos. There's also a completed visa form, and that is then all sent to our Pennsylvania office, where we then send it to the consulate to get your visa, and then we mail that all back to you. Visa processing typically takes around 4 to 6 business days, but again, we ask for it about 6 weeks before to make sure that, just in case, everything is in order so you have your passport when you get to board your plane. So travel insurance is required to be on our program. We work with an organization called Student Alliance, where they have discount travel and international insurance provided to students. It's also found on our website, and if decided to go on our program, well, we send you information about that as well. Some buzzwords that you might see on our website or hear in an interview. The invitation letter is something that your host company that you will be interning at sends us and says, I'm inviting X student to come and do an internship with us. And that's actually what we use in order to get your visa. Once your placement is confirmed, we also send you what we call a CIS. It's a company information sheet, as well as a job description. The CIS outlines the company you'll be placed at, kind of a background about them, their website, your supervisor, the dress code, the location, as well as your job description of what you'll be working on for the next months. At our teams in China, we have a variety of different staff. We have program managers, and these program managers are the ones that work with the students when it comes to accommodations, the cultural Mandarin lessons, and social events. They're there at all of those events and making sure that you have a great experience. The business development managers, these are staff that are working with your placement and working and maintaining the relationships with our host companies. We work with over 500 different companies throughout China, and so these teams are also very important to make sure that placements are confirmed, that you're getting a quality internship, and that we're maintaining strong relationships with these companies. During the summer, we always run a photo and video competition. So if you're logged in and you're actually going on our program here in July or August, this is a great opportunity for you to potentially win a prize of $100. It's a video or a photo of your experience in China, and then you can submit those to our YouTube. If you're not going on our program and you want to see a little more photos about what's it like on the program, always tune in on our Facebook or YouTube to see some of those. We're almost finished, so I'm sure you guys have questions, but hopefully I can answer some questions for you now. The first one is, we always get questions about, will I get my first sector choice? And we do our best in the interview to place all of our students in their first sector choice. During the application, you get to choose 1, 2, or 3 different sectors, and 90 to 95% of them do receive their first sector choice. Again, that can change depending on peak seasons, for instance, summer for the U.S. students. Next question, how many people will be on the program? So we have over 4,000 alumni and sending around 2,000 this year alone. And so it depending on the month, as well as it depends on the month, but we typically are sending 20 to 140 students per month. So you could be on a program with 20 or 140 students from around the world. When it comes to your accommodations, our accommodations, again, are full service. You have your own room, but you share living, kitchen, and bath with one or two other roommates of the same sex. But all of our accommodations are centrally located within each city, making sure that your commute to your host company is no more than 30 to 45 minutes using public transport. We do run a scholarship program when it comes to funding. We run one every October, November, where we issue one 100%, two 50%, and five 25% scholarships. So if you're thinking of doing an internship this upcoming spring or summer, be sure to check out our website for the upcoming scholarship and apply. Outside of the what's already included in the program, what's not included is airport an air ticket to China, as well as just your general food and day-to-day living. And we say that's around $15 to $25 a day, or $100 to $175 a week in China. You can get by with a lot in China, as it's commonly much less expensive food-wise than the United States. Taking money with you, a lot of ATMs you can use your ATM or credit card, but always check with your bank and credit card company to make sure that there's not significant international fees. As I said, so we recruit and place students from over 57 different countries. So managing all of the flights would be somewhat of a logistical nightmare. So we partner with an organization called Student Universe who can manage all of that for us. And it's not required, but we encourage students to work with them when it comes to booking their flight. And if you have any allergies or health concerns of going to China, we're always our program managers are can help you with that if you just tell us during your interview or at any point during the pre-departure, so we can make a note and make any needed recommendations or handle that. These are some of the news sources we've been publishing talking about China, the growing demand for internships there, and our program with CRCC Asia. Again, you can always check us out in a variety of different places. Our website is always a great place, but we're on, as you can see, a variety of social media, as well as Weibo and Youku. Weibo is the Chinese equivalent to Twitter, and Youku is the Chinese equivalent to YouTube. So fun fact there. And again, these are all of our offices worldwide. I am in the San Francisco office. And at any point, you can give us a call, email. Again, our website also has a live chat, too, if you have questions. Well, as I said, we are doing this webinar series for the next 6 months, and these are the kind of topics we'll be discussing, as well as the dates and times. You can check out our events page at www.crccasia.com/events/ for more details of what those webinars will include, as well as ways to register, so you can be sure to check in. So we're back. So before that I'm done with the presentation, hopefully you guys, I answered a lot of your questions, but hopefully you have some more as well. So I'll just wait to see if I got some questions. All right. The first question, do you have any advice on who to contact for funding as a UK student for the business and finance course? It's a great question. So we have an office in London where you can contact London at crccasia.com, or you can call at the website. On our website, you can go to offices, and it has a phone number, and you can call them directly. We do have, I guess, for the business and finance course, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe the Generation UK scholarship is for the internship only. But again, that's something you can contact London at their email or phone number. Let me think if there's anything else I didn't cover as people are gathering their thoughts for additional questions. Depending on which university you work with, we work with a variety of institutions to offer credit for our internship. So our internship doesn't issue credit through CRCC Asia, but we can partner with your university if their university issues credit for internships. We also have a variety of partnerships with institutions that already have existing programs with us. For instance, UT Austin, Colorado State, as well as University of Arkansas, Trinity University, Villanova, and the list continues. So if you're not aware if your university has one, or you want to see your university have one, you can always contact me and love to set up a conversation with you as well as your university. Another option when working with your university is a lot of your colleges or your study abroad office might have funding options for you to apply for. And the rule of thumb is always apply early, as a lot of them will be having their scholarship application in the fall for the following spring or summer. So when you get back on campus, as it is summer, be sure to go to your study abroad office or ask your academic advisor of what opportunities they are for scholarships when it comes to interning abroad or having an international experience in China. If you, the question by Rebecca about the UK student, if you are logged in and you're not a US student or Canadian student or from South America, we're doing this webinar series across all regions. So our London office will be having another a webinar tomorrow. You can check it out again on our events page on our website, as well as our Sydney office will be having one coming up as well. So each of those will be tailored depending on the different region and where students are coming from. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to just type them in and I'll select them and answer them live. Great question about visas, Mohammed. So once you are accepted into our program, we're going to send you a pre-departure packet, and one of those items in that is about the visa, and it will give you step-by-step of what will be needed. But that's around 6 weeks before the program start is when we typically send you that information. Again, to process a visa, it takes around 4 to 6 business days. But that's once we send it to the consulate from our Pennsylvania office. So we ask students to send it to us 6 weeks before the program start date, so that way everything is in order. Just reading the next question real fast. All right. The next question was talking about your host company and placement. So it looks like you've been given a company offer, but you're asking, I'm not sure about the industry. I'm likely to get more interviews and time before deciding. So typically how the placement works is we take in the interview based upon, we interview and ask you, what are you looking for, what is your background, and then all of the information we work with our host companies. So once accepted, it's not a confirmation of which company you're going to be placed in, but it is a confirmation that we will guarantee you an internship in your first or second sector of your choice. Again, 90 to 95% is your first sector choice. If you do have concerns about your internship, your placement, you can always voice those. But again, how our program works is it's not that you get to pick which company that you're going to intern with. It's based upon your background. Obviously, we want to place you the best of ability. The company information sheet and job description hopefully will give you a little more insight as to the company if you're not familiar with it. It might be a Chinese-based company, so you probably have not heard of it before, which doesn't mean that we work with large corporations that are on the NASDAQ and doing fantastic things both in China but also internationally. But if you do have questions about it, you can contact our sales team, Trevor or Mike, to learn a little more about your company. The next question is, how do I get started on having someone help me find an internship in my sector? Especially, I'd like one in the pharmaceutical biotechnology sector. So, Kendra, great question. Love to see that you're interested in pharmaceuticals and biotechnology. So with our program, we do have internships when it comes to pharmaceuticals and when it comes to the technology side. What you would do is, in your application, we do ask you questions as to, what are you looking for in an internship specifically. I would highlight the fact that what are you looking for when it comes to pharmaceuticals and biotechnology. In the interview, again, the more thorough you are, the better we are to make sure we know which companies to reach out to. All of our companies provide us with job descriptions. So these companies are looking for a certain type of person. Just like if you were going to apply for an internship here in the U.S., they have a certain job description that they're wanting to fill. But they're also really excited to have an international student interning in their office. It gives them an opportunity to learn a little more about the U.S., to have some really great students from some top universities in the U.S., as well as just an opportunity for them to get to know you. So in that interview, as well as the application, Kendra, I would encourage you to be thorough about what you're looking for, and that way we can kind of flesh out what that would look like when it comes to a company. Something I mentioned, the Dragon Trip as a travel option. So if you're thinking about, I want to do an internship, but I'm quite new to China, so I'm thinking only just a month, but I really want to explore China. It just so happens that the founder of Dragon Trip is actually in our office this week, Ramsey, and so the travel trip is a great opportunity. It's 20 days. It's backpacking, so it's affordable but adventurous exploration of China, where you get to, camp on the Great Wall is one of the excursions during those 21 days. Other one is you get to go to where Kung Fu was founded, and you get to go to a monastery where they work with orphans to train them on Kung Fu and make sure that they have employment after they leave the orphanages at 18. And so the trip, they're able to spend a day with those children, learning about Kung Fu, learning about their experiences, and then having some lessons for themselves. There's other cool, exciting things where you're river rafting and hiking and mountain biking. So it's adventurous and affordable is kind of the purpose of Dragon Trip. Since doing kind of a backpacking through China, it can be quite difficult not knowing the language, as well as it's so vast of where do you start and what do you cover. If you are also wanting to hear from previous participants, next month's webinar we're going to be having some alumni be featured and share about their experience. But our website also has over 300 testimonies, so that's a great way for you to have an inside look from peers of what they have experienced with their host company, with our program staff, with accommodations, and so forth. Our blogs are also really a great opportunity for you to see what it's like on the ground. We have bloggers every month of the year that, in conjunction with our program, and those bloggers, again, they highlight what are they doing on a weekly basis and sharing about their experience in China. We'll be saving this video and putting it up on YouTube, so if you didn't catch the first half or you have a friend that you think would really be interested, you can always check out our YouTube channel, and share it with them. Again, we'll be posting all of our webinars up on that page for students to consider. Well, I'm going to give it a few more minutes, so if you have any last-minute questions, please be sure to post them. Thanks for your question about insurance. So it's called Student Universe, and Student Universe, what they have is they have a policy that can work for you to have international health or medical insurance while in China. So that way you can go to doctors if anything emergencies happen, you break an arm, for heaven forbid, or something, you have insurance that will cover that. Student Universe also covers trip insurance, so if you have health issue the week before you leave and you can't make it, the insurance can cover that as well. Well, I'll give it 2 more minutes. Again, if you have any other questions following the webinar, you can always, well, they just jumped on. Great. I'll finish my sentence and then I'll answer these 2 questions. But at any point, if you have questions, you can email us, you can get onto our live chat, or give us a call. We love talking to students when they give us a ring in our San Francisco office and can answer all of your questions. Again, the application, once you apply, again, that's a great opportunity for you to ask questions once we have a little more information about your background with your resume. So one more question from Mohammed. What kind of activities and tasks will begin in the business apprenticeship, and what's an example of a firm you'll be working for, and what department would you be working in? Great question. So we work with a variety of different companies, as I said. So a business that's quite vague. So I'll take Gaotime as an example of a company we work with. Gaotime is a finance firm where they are helping companies branch into the China market. Previous interns has helped kind of do some market research, helping with clients of how do you consulting of how do you branch into the China market. The department that they would work in would I guess it depends. Our time we place students in a variety of different departments, from marketing to finance to kind of business development. So again, the application process and interview process, once we know a little more about your background and what you've done previously, not to say that you have to have done 3 internships before. We're able to place students who've done, this is their first internship, or you've had 3 other internships. So it really does depend based upon your experience as well as what you're looking for. And then the other question, Andy, I guess is a follow-up of, do I get to choose my host company? So again, as I mentioned earlier, how the program works is just like an internship here in the U.S., you don't get to say, I'm going to work for X company. It has to be based upon your work experience and if you're qualified. Although what the advantage is that CRCC has relationships with over 500 companies, so well-established, reputable companies in China that have a variety of different kind of job descriptions that you might not have access to otherwise. So we place students, again, about 90 to 95% based upon your first sector choice. So if you're looking for, as the previous question, you're looking for business and you want to do marketing and PR. So we reach out to a variety of different companies that are looking for marketing PR interns. That could be for an actual marketing or PR firm, or it can be for an engineering firm that needs interns that are going to be doing projects related to marketing. And so about 10 weeks, 6 weeks before your departure is when you find out about your host company, where you receive that job description and company information sheet. At which point, if you're not satisfied, I do encourage you to express concerns, but it's not as though you get to pick which company and pick and choose. You're offered one internship host company at that 6-week mark. And the next question, what are the working hours like? I also read on the website that there's going to be a telephone interview. Any suggestions on how to prepare? Fantastic. So you are working Monday through Friday, 40 hours a week. So it is a full-time internship that lasts 1, 2, or 3 weeks long. 1, 2, or 3 months. So you get to decide how long you want to be there. 1 month, you're just kind of getting your feet wet. Obviously, a 1-month internship, it's a great way to experience China and just get a brief experience. 2 or 3 months, obviously, the longer you're there, the more projects you'll be able to complete or dive deeper with. When it comes to the phone interview, so once you apply to our program, 48 hours later, we're going to set up a phone interview with you. This is, again, our opportunity to learn about what you're looking for, what your previous experience and classwork has included, and some tips of how you should prepare. If you could share as much detail as possible, I think that's always the best. If you'll get a question like, what are your interests in China, and why do you want to do an internship in marketing? You could be quite vague and give an overarching sentence or response like, I've taken some classes in marketing and it seems really interesting to me, and that's why I want to do an internship. That's great, but if you could give even more details, like, I've taken these 3 classes, I did this project when it came to PR, and I'm really interested in working for a company that focuses on, consumer product sales and marketing for them. So things like that will be really helpful. That way we can target even more. And so I think that's the best advice I could give when it comes to an interview. I guess the other thing is don't be afraid to ask any and all questions. Again, that you have someone's ear and you can ask us anything. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in for our first webinar. I appreciated all your questions and hope to see you guys hopefully on our program soon or at another webinar. Again, if you have further questions, be sure to email us, sanfrancisco@crccasia.com, or get onto our website to our live chat. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and week.